Hello, and welcome to another episode of On the Floor with Wayne and Rob. I'm Wayne Mylander, Director of Adhesive Sales.
I'm Rob Johnson from Bona Training, still here.
There we go. Rob, glad you're still here. What would I do without you? Huh. Wouldn't be that bad. Wouldn't be that bad.
I could see the Wayne Islander show. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The entry would be a whole lot easier. No one would make fun of me for getting it wrong all the time. Sleeping single in a double. There's so many country songs about, one thing about country music is the lyrics to country music songs are insane. They're so good.
They're great. Nobody tells a story like.
No, they're so great. So
tells
corny.
A story like a country singer.
If I told you you had a beautiful body, would you hold it against me? I mean, what kind of line is that? There's so many good ones.
Whose bed have your boots been under?
I was thinking the same thing.
I can't get that out of my head.
Yep.
I can't get that one out of my head for the last week. I have no idea where it came from. I must have heard it, and I just can't.
And I think that's Crystal Gale, isn't it?
I have no idea.
And God, I hated Crystal Gale. The reason I did, when I was an apprentice carpenter, all the old carpenters loved her, man. Remember she had hair down to her butt?
I was just going to say, the Crystal Gale hair. Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to ask Pauline for it all the time.
No way. Man. I never was a fan of her. Whose bed have your boots been? Oh, Shania Twain. Wait, she remade it. Maybe, I don't know if she redid it. I don't know. Who cares? It's a terrible song.
No, I'm not saying it was a great song. I'm just saying I can't get it out of my head.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Now I probably won't be able to either.
Whose bed have your boots been under? Because I kept thinking, whose boots are your bed? I kept messing it up. So then I said, no. It's the other way. So now all the listeners can join in that thinking, whose bed have your boots been under?
If it's whose boots have your bed been under, that would be a big girl.
That's what I kept saying wrong.
Yeah.
But now I'm happy that I got it right.
Rob,
let's have some fun today, Wayne.
If we look back of everything it took to start a business, would you have started it? If you looked at all the things that went into starting a business, I think it'd be too daunting. I think in life there's certain things, like I think when you get older like us, I think your eyes go and your ears go. I think God does that for a good reason. Good God. Someone took a picture of me and him at the end of NWA together. He goes, "Hey, I get your picture." I go, "Yeah, man." I took a picture. He sent it to me later on. Good God, I've gotten old, Rob. I mean, it is.
You're like the president.
That was not a good picture, man.
You're like the president.
Well, I'm not that damn old.
No. I don't mean I mean when a guy's president. You know what I mean? He gets into office, like Barack. Barack got in there. He looked good.
Oh, he aged quick.
And then at the end of the 8 years, wow, man.
Yeah, I get it.
He looked tired, gray. Yeah. That's a long 8 years, man.
Yeah. Well, I think that's why your eyes go as you get older. I think it's God's way of kindly letting you just off, the hook, right? And I don't know why your ears go.
Now, Pauline always says that because my eyes are shot. It's funny because Bum stopped that when I'm working with Bum, he stopped asking me what I think of that, or can you see this, or look at that right there. Everything looks great, or I tell Pauline, you are just as beautiful today as you were the day I asked you out. And she's like, you're blind as a bat. I go, well, lucky for you, right?
No, but that's different. That she is as beautiful as the day you met her, and so is my bride. That's a different thing.
I think she's prettier now than
she was.
I really do. But she's not even here to hear that. Hopefully Eileen and her, they talk a lot. Maybe Eileen will tell
get a good word in for you.
Throw a good word in for me there, Eileen. Appreciate it.
There you go. All right, so we got off track. Starting a new business. If you look at all of the amount of things that takes to start a new business, I think everybody would run for the hills. That's a great song, by the way. Run for the hills. Remember that one? Rock song? Anyhow. So we're going to talk about what it would take to start a new business, and why. For some, it's not for everybody. But let's do
Are
a
you talking
checklist.
about the song "Run for Your Life"?
No,
Run for your life.
no.
Run for the hills. Oh, I don't have
Yeah.
that guy's voice at all. You know, if you're going to sing karaoke and stuff, try to keep it in your limit, you know? Like nobody should do David Lee Roth. And whose ever song that was that I was just trying to sing?
It's Iron Maiden, Run to the Hills.
Okay.
Yeah. God, those hair bands were so bad back in the day, man. But I still like to crank them up once in a blue moon, man.
You
Driving
know,
down the road.
I I still like a lot of their
Mhm.
Poison. I thought did it. I know they're a crazy hair band, but I like a few Poison songs.
Yeah, yeah, I do too, man. Once in a while, one of them will come up, man. You crank it up, and yeah, it's good stuff.
Give a shout out to Enos Farnsworth on Poison.
Really?
Yes, but you imagine that Enos Farnsworth, huge Poison fan.
That is hard to believe.
He told me that, and I thought, no, you're lying. And next thing you know, he started playing all these different, and I was like, he's like, I like this one when I'm walking off planes, and I was like, you got to be kidding me.
See, now we can make fun of Enos Farnsworth because he's retired from the industry. Enos Farnsworth. Now we can make fun of you, Mr. Big Shot. It would be funny if you got back in the industry. You go, oh shoot. Anyhow, so starting your own business, Rob. Checklist.
Hey, let's start off that. Why are we starting our own business? And I'm going to give you a hint, a look back. Okay, never start your own business out of spite.
Yeah,
That's what I did.
I think a lot of them actually. Probably several of them have been done that way.
That's what I did because starting it out of spite, I had no plan ahead of me. I was just like making quick decisions. Had some issues with the family.
I'll show you.
I'll show you, sons of.
I'll show you how unsuccessful I can be.
Yeah.
And drag it out for 20 years.
Exactly. You wait till you're tasting your own blood. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably not one of the best moves as far as being mentally prepared.
Mm-hmm.
I swear, my second day in my own business, and I think that was like the second day that I had left H.A. Johnson and Sons. I was going to their customers. I was going into bowling alleys. Hey, for guys I knew and guys that were around the Albany area. Yeah, I'm doing this now myself. Here's my prices for this and that and the other thing, and they're like, you really do you have the? Don't worry about the equipment. I'll get the equipment. You don't not till summer, right?
You sure you want to undercut your dad and your cousin, and your brothers, and all that? Like, sure.
Oh God, yeah. That's the first thing I wanted to do. Yeah. That didn't go over.
No, at the family Thanksgiving, that didn't.
Yeah, there was some awkward moments between me and my grandparents.
You know, that's the worst part of family business is holidays. You know, if things aren't going, great or whatever, it is the holidays. You're supposed to get together at the holidays, and it's just hard to separate the business.
I think I told this story before, but we're all at the Thanksgiving table, all the Johnsons, and it was always, who was the best floor man. That's what it was.
Did you really?
Yeah. And everybody had their own, right? And I had showed my grandfather like a week before. I got my first NWFA certificate. I think that was like my craftsman degree.
Yeah. Yep.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
So I said, hey, Grandpa, he liked things like that. So I was like, hey, take a look at this. And he's looking at that. You would have thought I was showing him a diploma from Harvard.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
Where, I was hey, that was my first one. So I was, I was excited, and oh my gosh, when I showed him that, I mean, he was really, really taken back. He was just
Wow.
so proud, right? And so when I would get, advanced and all the others, oh,
Hmm.
he just loved it. But that year, when everybody's going around the table, my grandfather goes, no, 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 Robbie's the winner. He's got the diploma. He's got the certificate. Well, that was, I mean, that day I was anointed that day. Okay.
Yeah.
So
That's from the Pope.
that was it, man.
Mm.
That was it. So don't start those new businesses out of spite, but I bet you're right. I bet
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
them did.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I was on uh, over the weekend. I was on a bum's doing a bum and this friend of his. This friend of his is a big time painter, and so him and bum share a lot of work. Doing floors and whatnot.
Hmm.
So it's a big commercial building. Go in, I'm talking to him, and he goes, Dad, you got to look at this. He goes, you remember Done Right Pools? I said, yeah, yeah. He goes, look right next door. So you have Done Right Pools, okay? And then right next door, I got to take a picture so they can put it up. Right, the building right next to Done Right Pools
Hmm.
is now Done Better Pools.
Are you kidding me?
Swear to God.
Oh my God. That's beautiful.
Done right, done better. Pissed off employee goes
Oh my
over
gosh.
and starts a business right next door. Done right, done better.
That's incredible.
So now we're standing in the building looking across the street. So I said to the kid his job it was, the painter, I go, so what's this going to be? He goes, another pool place. I go,
Oh, no
a
way.
good cut. That can't be. This
Yeah.
isn't Florida. It's East
Yeah.
Greenbush, New York. How many pools? We can use our pool 4 months a year.
Hmm.
I go, what's the name of this place? He goes, I don't know, but
If it's done best. Yeah.
done best. There you go. That's the that should be the name of it. Done best.
That's a trip.
Done right, done better, done
The
best.
best.
I like it. That's why you're a director.
Yeah, just the little things.
These things come to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
They just come to you out of nowhere.
All right. Starting a business.
Let's
Look
go.
at the planning. You're planning ahead for starting a business. For some of the things you need to do, create a business plan. Right?
Yes.
Choose a name. Research supplies. Estimates startup cost. Everybody's going to get that wrong. Estimate manufacturing costs. Research competition. Set realistic goals. Research pricing for items. Research local markets. So that task. Here's what I always say. I mean, I look at this list. If you're going to go into business yourself, you need to know why. What makes you different than everybody else? If you don't have that why, then you're just another me too. Now I'm going to tell you something. I'm not going to tell you who told me because I don't know if he'd want me to share it with anybody. But everybody else, fine. But I don't think he'd want me to share it with you.
He doesn't want to share it specifically with me.
Yes, yeah. No, but he said something that somebody told him, a business coach told him, that I think is very, very powerful. If there's something wrong with your business, it's your fault. Now, I love that because there's no one else to point the finger to. If you're the guy, you own the business, if there's something wrong, it's your fault. You got to find how to fix it. So, but I thought that was a very powerful statement. And a lot of people don't take ownership of things anymore. Everybody wants to pass it on to somebody else. It's his fault. It's their fault. Oh gosh, are we a victim society nowadays? I mean, it's crazy to me. It's aggravating as hell to me. You can't watch a American Idol show on TV and go, oh, the next singer is Brian. Well, let's look at Brian's backstory. Yeah, I had kidney disease when I was 12, and my mom died while I was in prison and there. Anyhow, so I wrote this song. They won't. Everybody's got some horrible backstory. You just can't go out there and sing. You know what I mean? So everybody's a victim now. So why did I just say that?
Yeah, I don't know where you're going. You seem angry. You okay?
I'm not angry in the slightest. Are you kidding me?
Are you thinking of going on American Idol?
No, no.
You know, I signed up for American Idol.
You're kidding.
Swear, I did.
You never get.
I tried to. I tried to. The stadium where the Bulls played, I had to go look at their floor back when I was in sport. And I was like, what the hell are all of these people? You know, tons and tons and tons of people, lines everywhere. I didn't know what was going on. You know, I'm thinking, I'm just here to fix the floor. It's not a big deal, you know, but so I said to this one kid, sorry, hey, what's going on today? He goes, oh, it's American Idol signups and tryouts today. I said, oh, perfect. Glad I'm here. Glad I didn't miss it. So I stood in line, got my sheet, filled it out, and I waited too.
What, are you out of your mind?
Yeah. No. How many?
Just give it a shot.
Why not?
All right, there you go.
Why not me?
Yeah, yeah.
Huh?
Is that the song you were going to sing? Why not me?
Why not me?
Why not me? Who?
You got to take your shot, right? I can sing.
That was Winona.
Charlie Daniels. You've heard it. So I go through all this stuff, and then finally, you know, I'm standing in the right line.
Yeah.
I get up, hand the thing to the guy, hand my paperwork to the guy, and he looks at me and he goes, "Is this for you or your kid?" I go, "No, it's for me."
Yeah.
He's like, no, you're too old.
You're kidding me.
Swear. That's what he said to me. You're too old. He was smiling. I go, I didn't know there was an age thing. There's an age thing. You know what? This was
that's discrimination.
Probably 10 years ago. I bet things have changed. I bet they couldn't say to you now, hey,
yeah,
you know, you're too old.
Yeah.
But he kind of, you know. So I said, well, can I keep the paperwork just so I can show everybody? So I did get to keep the paperwork. I'll see if I can find it.
You should have took it all the way up to the Supreme Court if you had to. And then they would have to let you try out and then find out you suck. All right, but so all these things, research, competition, all these different things. As I said, I think above and beyond everything is why are you going into business to me, and what makes you different than everybody else. I think you got to have that answer. If you can't figure that out, if you or if you don't know what your niche audience is, and I think that's very important too. You can't, if you're trying to appeal to the whole world, you're not going to be important to anybody, but you have to be able to appeal to some niche audience. So I don't know. I've just read this list you sent me, but that's to me where you start.
I gotta kind of disagree with you. Maybe not disagree with you. I agree. Yeah, I guess you got to start. But I think one of the big things that you have to do that I did not do, which of course, and I saw it work firsthand, is put together a business plan, something you can bring to a bank.
Yeah.
Okay. I worked with a guy when we were doing gyms. He started his own business. He broke away from the company we were working for, started his own deal, but put together just the most amazing business plan. One day he kind of hands it to me and he goes, hey, you know, read this. And I'm going through it and I'm like, man, Tim, who did this? And he's like, I did. He goes, this is how you write a business plan. He goes, you know, do this. And he brought that to the bank. That was it.
Wow.
And they gave him, you know, just about everything that he was asking for, all from a kick-ass business plan that you present to the bank, because that was one of the toughest things I think Pete and I went through, was we had no startup money. We had, you know, nothing to get things going. Scrimping and saving, buying equipment, you know, things like that as we were moving forward. But this guy, right off the bat, got the bank involved, but he got the bank involved with an amazing business plan, and it worked.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I think. Well, okay, I think that's important too. That would be down the line for me. As what to me is finding out why we're going to go into business, why blah blah blah, what makes us, what separates us, what is that? Then go to the bank. But whatever.
I thought we figured that out. Spite. We're starting
Oh,
a new
okay. You're
business
still
with
going with spite? Okay.
Spite.
Okay.
Remember, I love it. Done right, done better,
Yeah.
done best. I guess that takes care of the name ideas too.
Yeah. Choosing
Name
a
of your
name.
business. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Marketing.
Wait a minute.
You wait a minute.
Wait a minute. Maybe let's say you get that call from Sweden.
Okay.
You got to go out on your own. It's over.
Mm-hmm.
The Highlander show has come to an end.
Yeah.
What's the name of your new company?
Okay. I'm gonna throw this out there.
Throw it out.
You got to hear me out first.
Okay.
Legend hardwood floors. Why are you laughing? I'll tell you why. Let me tell you why. There's a reason. There's a reason behind this. Very solid, very solid reason behind this. The greatest country singer of all time is George Jones. Okay. I went to see him in San Francisco, and I seen his bus outside. His bus doesn't say George Jones on it, where we know it has a name for the place. All it says is Legend. And I went, damn, that's pretty cool. So I would roll with that. My brothers would give me hell for it, and everybody else would too. But that's my reason behind it. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it.
You going with Legends hardwood floors or Legends
Legend singular.
Legend no S.
Yeah, no, because it'd just be me. There can't be two legends in the same business, same outfit.
All right, so Legend.
Yeah. What about
Wood
yours?
floor or hardwood floor?
Hardwood floors. I want you to know.
I don't know.
Legend hardwood floors.
I think more people should go with wood floors. We do a lot of pine.
Are you the legend or am I the legend?
You're right.
Right?
Okay. Legend hardwood floors.
Okay. What would yours be?
Organic wood floors.
Yours?
Organic wood floors.
You could eat it. You don't like it?
I got to give a shout out to my brother on that one.
Organic wood floors.
Yeah, because I think right now, something, I don't know, maybe not organic, but something with that green, organic, something in there. I can't really pinpoint it yet.
Yeah.
But I got to throw back to my brother. Do you remember when everything was going around the Statue of Liberty? It was like her birthday or something.
Mm-hmm.
A few years back, probably 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Right? There was something going on with the statue, and every day, all you heard was Statue of Liberty. So my brother wanted to get a side hustle going on top of, he was a recruiter.
Mm-hmm.
So he started a company, Liberty Floors. He got some business cards because he could do floors.
Yeah. Yeah.
He got some business cards, Statue of Liberty on the card, right? Liberty Floors, taking advantage of what's going on in the world. Okay.
That's the tagline?
No, there was no tagline. He just went heavy with Liberty Floors.
Okay.
Okay. I don't think he got one job.
No kidding.
Yeah, I don't think he got any work.
Wow.
He was going at it kind of half-ass. I think he was really relying on the name.
Yeah.
Liberty Floors is just going to get him all the work. Nobody had heard of Liberty Floors or anything like that. I think I might have helped him out on one estimate or something. Don't even know if we got that one. But I just remember cracking up when he goes, yeah, I got an idea, starting a company, Liberty Floors. I go, oh, yeah, the Statue of Liberty thing. Yeah, let's see how that goes. Yeah.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Did your folks come through, Ellis Island? Ellis Island.
My great-grandfather did.
Really? My mom did.
Your mother?
Did my mom? No, she couldn't have.
She could.
No, she
Ellis Island was closed.
Yeah, my
your
dad
mother
dropped her
went
off. We flew over in a plane. We dropped her off at the island. You go through
yeah,
here.
maybe she took a tour of Ellis Island.
Somebody in somebody in my family did. I can't remember who.
Well, it had
Must
to
have
be
been
your grandfather or grandmother or something.
must have been a
Not your mother.
grandmother. Yeah, my mom was too young at the time.
No, yeah, it had to be actually
Yeah.
a great something.
Hmm.
They'd be well over 100. They'd be 120 years old.
Have some respect for my mom, okay?
She looks pretty good for 120.
Damn right. All right, so
Well,
let's
she had
see.
you when she was about 84.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
You get some good stock there.
It's a Highlander. She's a tough woman. Set realistic goals. I don't like that. I don't like that right off the bat.
Set realistic goals.
Yeah,
You want unrealistic goals.
absolutely. Yeah.
That way you can really be depressed every day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really get down on yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Good
Well,
thing.
at the end of the month, though, we'll go, well, we could never reach that goal. So don't get too bummed out. That was crazy.
Let's change the name of this checklist to
That's the bagels.
starting legend hardwood floors.
Okay. Okay.
Set unrealistic goals.
Yeah.
I'm writing that down.
Yep.
I'm liking where you're going with this.
Yep. You got to hire people, though. Then you got to figure out what are you going to do? You're going to do it by yourself? You're going to hire people?
You got to have at least one guy.
Yeah, at least.
Well,
To start it out
you
with.
like going solo anyways.
Yeah, but not starting a new business. You got to have, you got to have people. Because now I would do it differently now than I did years ago. Now I would be the front man completely.
Always comes back to singing with you, doesn't it?
No, but somebody's got to be out there, selling things, and I would be that guy. But I probably wouldn't last long with that because I'd love to do the work, so that probably wouldn't work. I'd probably hire a sales guy. What are you doing? You can be my sales guy. You could sell.
Me?
Yes.
Oh, good. I've got a job.
Yes.
I can be your sales and estimator.
Okay.
So what are you going to do? You're going to hire somebody to do the work, or are you going to do the work?
I'm going to do the work, and I need to hire some more people. And here's what I was told when I was in California by a CPA. And if you're trying to run the business in California by yourself, and excuse me, not by yourself, but like you're gonna be doing the estimates. You're not doing the physical work. You're not installing hardwood floors. I did a job for a guy one time, and he said, "Thank you very much. Here's your check." Blah blah. And he goes, "And by the way, you're not making any money." And I was shocked by what he said. And then I go, "Come again?" He goes, "Yeah, you're not making any money." He goes, "You got 3 guys working for you." I go, "Yeah." He said, "And you're doing all the estimates and everything?" What he didn't know is I was also doing the work. But he said, in California, you need at least 5 people working for you if you're not doing the work to pay your salary. That's the way it works out. Now, this was years ago. This was 15 years ago. So, or maybe more, about 15 years. I'd say about 15 years ago. So he said, if you got people working for you and they're supporting you, that you're not out there physically doing the work, you're doing everything else, you need to have about 5 guys out there in the field working for you to pay your salary. So,
Wow.
so you better get hot and get some freaking bids in, and let's go. I need you to sell.
Well, don't worry about it. You're out there working too.
Yeah,
So,
but well,
yeah,
what?
I can cruise.
What, are you gonna just sell jobs for me? I can do
Just
that
in
myself.
time, just enough. Yeah.
I'm never gonna get along with you, man. This is
Really? You're just figuring that out now, huh?
yeah. All right, so we got to buy we got to buy a domain name. We got to create a website. We got to create a social media account, create a mail list, create email signatures. I don't care about that, just fluff. Create business cards, yep. Photograph samples, blah, blah, blah. Who cares about that? Apply to local market events. That's somewhat germane. So yeah, coming up with a good name. I don't care about none of that, but the main thing is the social media stuff. Man, oh man, is it a different game. So you got to really got to be dialed in on the social media. I'm convinced of it. Um,
I would think that it would be almost more important to have a social media person than a salesperson.
no, I don't know if I agree with that. Like I said, I don't. Like
I
I've talked to
said
so.
I said almost
So then why even say it?
because I wanted to.
Okay. Well, then you just talked yourself out of a job.
I
So I
can
don't
do
need.
both.
I don't need. Oh, can you?
I'll do both.
Okay.
Yeah, you know me,
Uh,
I'm Mr. IT.
okay. Well, I need most of you out there. I need selling. I need jobs. I need you to perform. I need to. I need the. I need to bring in income. So now we got to choose a legal structure, which means I can't have you as a partner, right? You don't want to be a partner, do you?
I'm thinking. Uh, no,
See,
no, I don't. Want to be
I would fire you right away for lack of confidence.
I don't want to be your partner. No,
Why?
no, it has
Why?
nothing to do with my confidence.
I mean, your
My
confidence in
confidence
me.
is through the roof.
Yeah, but you don't have any confidence in me if you wouldn't want to be my partner. I wouldn't want you to be a partner, though. Not no offense to you.
Oh God, no! How would I take offense to that?
No, I wouldn't want anybody as a
Well, the
partner.
funny thing is I already said I don't want to be your partner. So now,
But I
whatever
wouldn't
you
give you
think,
a choice.
right?
Then when we hit the big time, you'll wish you were a partner. Then you
No,
could.
I'll just leave you out of spite and start my own thing.
I was going to say, yeah. All right, but for now, right now, you're just an employee.
Thank you. It's all
Okay.
I want to be.
Obtain business licenses and permits. Well, business license is the main thing. We got to do that. Make sure we have our contractor's license in order and all that. They didn't say it right here, but you got to have contracts. That's a big deal. I wouldn't work without a contract. In some states, you cannot work without a contract. Anything over, I think, $500, you got to have a contract. Which states
How many people have asked for your contract?
it's crazy.
How many? Still,
You want
still
me to
to
give?
this day.
Yeah, it's
Hey,
it's
send me the contract.
it tells you how many people go back and listen to the or just tuning in or whatever, listen to the older episodes
Yeah.
because it's like constantly people are asking me for that contract.
When they
So
ask for mine, I just send them the handshake emoji.
oh there you go, yeah,
There it is. Yeah.
yeah, that'll
You
work.
trust me and I trust you. There you
Hmm.
go.
There's a lady in this industry, I can't remember her name, who said something when people talked about contracts, and they said, we don't do anything we don't sign contracts. I've been in this trade for 20 years. I don't sign contracts. We do everything on a handshake. And she said, I wish I could remember who this was. She said something that I thought was brilliant. She said, handshakes are great for introductions. After that, I want a contract. And I agree with her. I absolutely agree with her. There's too many things that could go sideways. I want everything on the up and up. I want to protect myself. I want to protect you. I want everything very clear, the communication right across the board, so there's no miscommunicating. I want you to know what I am going to do, and also what I'm not going to do. So I completely agree with her.
I'll tell you what, I completely agree with contracts and everything now, especially since I've been working the tech line for the past few years. Because these homeowners are not the same people that we dealt with back in the 80s and 90s. They are a whole different breed to the point where I have people that are rooting around in their rubbish, pulling stuff out, reading directions off of cans, going online, finding out, telling me that, oh no, I don't think they did this or that. I mean, wow, you have got to cover yourself nowadays because some of these homeowners are insane.
Yeah.
And they don't trust anything that a contract. That's what I really think is the sad thing of what I hear a lot on the phone is they never take the guy's word for it. Guy's been doing it for 30 years and they're like, I don't think he's doing this right or that right. And I'm like, well, how'd you hire this guy then? You got to trust. There's very little trust. And I shouldn't say that blanket. I'm just talking about the people that call us on the tech line.
Yeah.
So you have got to have yourself covered for everything. I think that contract does a great job of it.
I was on the way to the NWFA last week, the one that you weren't invited to, and my flight was for 7:45 a.m.
I don't think it wasn't that I wasn't invited. I think there was a list, a number, and they could only take a certain number, and my number wasn't high enough.
It's like when
I'm going to keep telling myself that, though.
When my coach in football said, you're not going to, you can play linebacker, but you're not going to be first string running back. You'll be second string running back. Until the first string running back gets hurt, then you're going to drop down to the third string running back. So the list might have been 42 people, but if the 42nd person couldn't go, then it would have been, well, it's moved again, the number, it's jumped.
Yeah.
So my flight was at 7:45 a.m. and I couldn't make that. Oh no, I take it back. The flight was canceled, which is nice. I get there and I got to get up at 7:45. I got to get up at 3 a.m. and they go, sorry, the flight's canceled. The next available flight is 10 p.m. Okay, so 7:45 a.m. I'm there at the airport. Well, I'm there at 5:45, and they tell me now the flight doesn't go out till 10 p.m. So anyhow, yeah, so I was a little upset. But distributor called, said, hey, a guy wants to have an inspection done on his floor. Do you have time to look at it? I go, well, yeah, that's got nothing to do now. So I go out and look at it. Homeowner's complaining about the floor. On a scale of 1 to 10, the sand job on this floor was about a 10. He power drive the whole thing. It was dead flat. I mean, to the point where you couldn't go in there and improve that sand job. The best you can hope is that you can match it. That's the best you can shoot for. You will improve it. And I'd say that pretty close to the same thing on the finish. The finish, I'd give it a 9 out of a 10. Okay. But again, if someone called me out of the blue and said, hey, I'm not happy with this guy's work, I want you to sand it over, I'd pass on the job. It's not that I couldn't do it. I might be able to do it. But why? The standard is, this guy got an incredibly good job. His standard is so incredibly high that he's refusing to pay on his job. Why would I take that job? You'd be out of your mind to take that job. So, and then he tells me he's OCD. Okay, he has OCD, which, when you tell me that,
right, that's your problem.
Thank you. That's your problem. You got that problem. I don't have that problem.
Right.
That's not the world's problem. That's your problem.
Exactly.
So you recognize that you have this problem, and it's not his problem. So I can't. I gotta be neutral. I gotta be whatever.
You gotta be Switzerland here.
Right? Yep. So and I'm feeling so bad for the poor floor contractor, and so here I'm in there. I'm standing with over 40 years experience. Jeremiah Strong was with me. He's got about 30 years experience. Whatever. The contractor, I don't know how long, but he's obviously, the guy's sensational. And you're listening to none of us. Your mind is made up, but there's no talking to you. And by the way, he told me he has a friend that's in the industry. And I've had this happen before. I've had people say, oh, I have a friend who's a floor man, and he looked at it and he said, blah, blah, blah. In this case, he said, his floor man said that he thinks this guy probably was trying to do a good job, but he rushed it. What an incredibly arrogant thing to say. You don't know that this guy rushed it. You make that up.
That's a lie.
You have no idea. You have no idea.
Right.
Why would you say, well, if that craftsman was standing next to you, would you say that to another man? You based on what? You know what I mean? So here's
based on that. Oh, he does it faster than I do it.
Yeah. So here's what I know. Whatever that conversation, whenever somebody introduces a phantom person, I don't know if they exist or not, that's in the industry, that looked at the floor and said this. Here's what I always know for sure. That person is not going to be the one to come to fix that floor. It never happens.
Why didn't you hire him?
Exactly.
If you know the guy, I have a friend in the business.
And I guarantee you, if
why
that
didn't
guy,
you hire him?
Yep. If that guy says to the homeowner, says to that guy, whoever he is, hey, you know what? I'm not paying that guy. I want you to do the job over. I promise you, that guy's not going to do that job over unless he's a maniac. Because why would you take that job? There's plenty of work out there. Why would you take a job where the standard is extraordinarily high? You've got nowhere to go.
What was this guy's complaint on the job? Why did you need to inspect
there was
job?
There was a few things. One, the wood fillers, some areas weren't filled all the way. And I'll give it that Could have done a better job on the wood filling, although it was a common grade wood, and some of it won't take a filler. You know what I mean? I'm not talking about gaps between the boards. I'm talking about knots and stuff like that. But it's I mean, that's a quick, easy fix. A few other issues.
And the guy's demanding an inspection.
Yeah.
For something like that.
Yeah, and there's a few other issues I don't want to get into, but basically, come on, man. So anyhow, so anyhow, I don't know where we went with that, but yeah, a contract. So you definitely want to have a contract and have the contract signed and everything. All right.
You know what? Speaking of that, that reminded me of a story. I got a call from a local contractor years ago when Pete and I were still in business full time. And he said, I know you and Sherman do a ton of water base, and my guys just aren't, as proficient at it. Could you go over and do a final coat up, pay whatever? And I said, yeah, sure. It was kind of close to the house. So we went over, and I'm looking at this job like, just like you were looking at it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, I don't want to coat this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's saying that I know his guys aren't that good, but his guys killed it.
Yeah.
They really killed it. Brand new home. And the guy is walking around and just, complaining about this. And he's complaining about the times that they showed up and this and that. And he was probably an OCD type guy. Right? Mm-hmm. Now, I'm always the talker on the crew. Talker, sales, estimate. Pete's always the quiet guy. I might even told this story on the show before. So I said to the guy, I go, I really can't see what you're talking about, And he goes, I'll show you. Look. He gets down on his hands and knees and he starts running his fingers underneath a baseboard radiator, right? Just baseboard heating.
Underneath it.
Underneath it.
Yeah.
There's no cover on it. Right?
Right.
And he's running his hand there and he's like, feel how rough this feels. Feel how rough that is.
Wow.
And I'm like, well, it's underneath the radiator. He goes, I can't live with that.
Oh man.
And I'm like, so now I'm thinking, does he want me to get down? Right? Because now I got to do this coat. Now, like I said, years and years, Peter, the quiet man, never says a word except how he's not happy with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That he doesn't mind talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Now he never says anything. And Pete, from out of nowhere, looks at the guy and he goes, you know what I think? I think that you have one of the most beautiful homes I've ever seen in my life. I think you have one of the greatest sand jobs ever. You have a perfect home, perfect floor. People would kill to have this. He goes, I think you should just shut up and move in and enjoy it for the rest of your life.
Wow. I love it.
The two of us.
Wow.
Two of us. The homeowner and myself.
Yeah.
I'm staring at Peter like, that's the greatest effing thing I've ever heard in my life, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Peter, you don't say much, but man, when you drop a nugget,
yeah,
you drop a nugget.
Yep.
The guy stood there, and I'm thinking, well, it's going to go one or two ways. I'm going to be hand sanding under that radiator, or the guy's going to throw us out.
Yep.
The guy looks at Peter, and he goes, I guess you're right.
No
said,
kidding.
We good? He goes, yeah, we're good.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
I call the contractor, tell him the story, and he's like, Peter said that? I go, yeah, Peter said that.
Wow.
Peter said hey, it's not going to work every day, but I could tell that this guy was starting to really piss Peter off, just like you said.
Yeah.
Nonsensical, ridiculous things on how hard guys work in this business, and this guy, wow. So I'm not saying it works for everybody, but that day, Peter just lowered the boom on that guy. It was awesome.
Which is a good. If you ever get a chance to to speak about someone else's work. Like a lot of times we weren't interested in just to go look at someone else's job that whatever, or can you come and see if this guy did it right? I was never interested in doing that. That's not my thing. And I do our thing and whatever. But I always tell yourself, put yourself in the other guy's shoes. And maybe it's not a perfect job. Maybe the guy had a bad day, but we all have bad days. And so maybe put yourself in that guy's shoes, man, the other craftsman, how hard it is, how, he's another brother, man. So don't be quick to criticize someone else's work.
You know something? This is way back when I was younger and Peter and I had just started up the business. So I think we're like 2 years in. And we did a floor, rustic farmhouse type, put a brand new oak floor. Now, all of a sudden I'm noticing that, man, there's more knots in this than there should be. So one of the few times in my whole life I ever called distributor, talk, and he goes, yeah, that's a different grade. And I'm like, well, we ordered select. And he goes, well, it's common and better. And I'm like, I've never heard, what are you talking about? No such thing as common and better, right?
Mm-hmm.
Common 1, common 2, select.
Right.
Select and better. Well, they're calling this common 2 or common and better. That's what they were calling it. And I was like, it does kind of look like common and better, long lengths, but there's some not. So I told the homeowner, I go, I'm going to rip out what we did and go taking this flooring back. And she's looking at it and goes, no, I really like it. I'm like, oh, okay. So we keep laying. So we're about to sand, and I'm going through and I'm filling all the knots. And she goes, no, don't fill anything. I like it just like that. And I was like, okay, great. Beautiful. We get all done. She doesn't want to pay us because we didn't fill anything.
Yeah, I was wondering that.
And I'm like, you told me not to. She goes, well, I didn't think it was going to be this bad. I'm not. So I said, well, all right, I'll sand it, fill it. And no, she goes, I don't trust you. And this is a local person. So I'm like, oh, this is not good. This is not good. She calls up another contractor to come in and redo it. The guy walks in, looks at it. Now I'll tell you what he said to me after. He says, I'm not touching this floor. This thing is perfect. And he left. He calls me up and he goes, hey, I just had your lunatic customer call me. And I told her I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. The job's perfect. Nothing I can do better.
Wow.
And I was like, wow. You know, back when you're younger, you always think, oh, people are going to jump all over you. Not this guy. Yeah. So I learned a long time ago, this is a brotherhood. And man, did that guy have my back. Well, he told her she was nuts. This floor is perfect.
Let me tell you a story when a guy didn't have my back. I think it was like the first year or so that we were doing floors, my brother John and I, and Doug wasn't with us at that time. And it was a Haddon Hall parquet floor, teak parquet floor. I'll never forget. I could drive to that job today because I think in my entire career it was the only job I wasn't paid on. So I went there. The floor was pretty hammered. We sand and finished the floor, natural finish, right? We talked to her about colors. We go back natural finish, yeah, blah blah blah. We sand and finish over, and it's done. I come by to get paid. No, I take it back. I'm there on the last day. We're putting up a baseboard, or what do you call it? Not baseboard, but a quarter round. The husband walks through the door, and he looks around. He goes, "Oh my God, it looks beautiful." She walks in behind him. She goes, "Is this it?" I said, "Yeah." She goes, "You're done?" I said, "Yeah." She goes, "It's the wrong color. It needs to be like a white. It's too dark." I said, "Ma'am, it's a natural finish." She goes, "I need a white stain." The first time she mentioned white this whole time, never mentioned a white stain. It's in the very beginning of white stains. Never mentioned white stain before. I said, "Ma'am, honest to God, you never mentioned white stain. It's a teak floor. It's got a lot of oils in the stains. And back then, I don't know if we would stain them anyhow." So she goes, "Well, she goes, I have another floor guy. I called you because he was too busy. He's used to doing high-end work," is what she says. Okay. Yes. So, and I knew the guy because my uncle used to work with him. And he was a big name in the business back then. So she said, I'm going to have him come and look at it. So he came and looked at the floor. Okay. And I talked to him ahead of time. I said, listen, my Uncle Stan worked with you, whatever. She said she wanted a white stain. She never mentioned white stain until after the fact or whatever. So anyhow, he went over there and told her, oh yeah, it could be done, blah, blah. I'll give you a price. We'll do it over. So he totally screwed me, right? So whatever. I think it was $800 or $900 back then, way back in like 80, 81, something like that. But after it was over, I saw him at the distributor at the time, Pacific Flooring in Emeryville. And he says, hey, how long have you been doing floors? I said, well, I've been doing floors for a bit, but it's my first year in business. He goes, how would you like to go to work for me? He goes, we need another guy. And he goes, you do good work. And I thought, that's a snake. That's a snake, man. So that's not the worst of it, Rob. I couldn't help myself. I waited about a month later, and I went by the house and I peeked through the window. You never put a white stain on it. It's a natural finish. It's the same. There's no difference. If you even did it over, it's the same color floor. Nothing changed. So
nobody redid that job I was talking about.
Yeah.
Nobody ever touched it.
Yeah.
Because I knew a contractor who was working there. And he goes, yeah, the floors never got touched. She just screwed you guys for $3,000.
And that's the thing. He crushed me because I respected him. You know what I mean? I respected that guy, his name and everything. And I thought he would do the honorable thing. I just assumed that he would. No part of me thought he would do something dishonorable, but he did. And I never forgot it. As a young guy, I never forgot it. And I told him about 15 years later. I met him again at a distributor. I said, hey, you got a minute? I want to tell you something. And I went through that whole thing with him. And I told him, I said, shame on you for doing something like that to a young kid. I said, you knew better at the time and you shouldn't have done it, man. And so he acted like no, whatever. I didn't want to get between you and her. Yeah, but you kind of did. Anyhow, well, we went certainly off track, didn't we?
Every time Pauline and I drive by that woman's house, and we drive by it a lot.
Really? She still live there?
She's still there. And every time we go by, Pauline says the same thing. Evil Judy Dickelman.
You might want to not use that name.
No, she owes me $3,000 for 20 years.
Okay. Not too late to do the right thing, Rob.
Evil Judy Dickelman.
Okay. So I think there's a lot of valuable information there, Rob. This has been another episode of On the Floor with Wayne and Rob. Please stay tuned for another episode.